Welcome, Barrie TROWER, to White TV.
Thank you.
It's a very big honor for us that you take your time and give us an interview. We are a big admirer of yours and your courage that you go out with the message that there are enormous dangers in VLAN and cell phone technology. And perhaps we could start with a short background that we understand your competence and how much knowledge you could collect, that you know what you know today.
Yes, I started in 1960. I studied all aspects of microwave warfare with the military.
In Great Britain?
In Great Britain, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All aspects of microwave warfare. I learned about the dangers, how they can affect the human body, as well as, of course, radar and military uses.
Yeah.
And a small part of my work after, for 11 years, was because microwaves during the Cold War were used as they are today as stealth weapons. They are perfect weapons, yes, because people do not know they are being targeted. Yes. And any government can and has targeted individuals, groups of people, whole streets of people. You can target people with low level over 18 months, 2.5 years, and you can cause serious neurological damage, serious physical damage, and of course cancers.
And change the mind.
Easily change the mind. At that time, whilst I was questioning sort of captured spies or agents, which I emphasize was a small part of my work, I learned of the dangerous frequencies being used in other countries, because all countries were experimenting as they are today. I had a list of about 30 frequencies that could cause about 50 serious neurological and physical disorders, including cancer.
Cancer, yes. They can induce cancer.
Yeah. For instance, 6.6 pulses or modulations a second can induce sexual aggression, yes, in men. Other pulses can make you feel suicidal. Other pulses can make you indecisive, lethargic. You can have pulses that will affect your vision because it interferes with the natural frequency of the eye. You can affect the heart quite easily. You can affect the glands.
Make a heart attack.
Oh yeah. You can also affect the glands in the body and change the hormone levels that will then change the behavior. So I did this for 11 years. I mean, I knew then about 30 pulse frequencies. Now they have a list of about 600. And they can be delivered to anybody, anywhere, by any government, even people who don't like you now. Day or night, when you're sleeping, walking around, the technology is there. And it is a perfect weapon because most of the time you don't know you're being attacked. And a tremendous success for a government is if they pick on a lady or gentleman unsuspecting and they can pulse that lady or gentleman's brain, cause a known psychiatric disorder, paranoid schizophrenia. They go to a psychiatrist, they are diagnosed, they are referred to a psychiatric hospital where they can still be targeted. and they can spend the rest of their life in a padded cell or in a psychiatric hospital, and that is a success.
Without being sick.
Without being sick. And if they just turned the frequency off, they would recover.
Yes.
That is a success. And we're not talking one person here, we're talking hundreds of thousands over 40, 50 years in many countries, hundreds of thousands. And the race is on to find the perfect microwave weapon where you can just, almost like a radio, tune the dial for aggression, suicide, whatever.
I heard about that. There are already technical devices. You hang it around your neck, a little pult here, and then you can have some sparks and steer. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't heard of those, no.
We had in Stockholm in Sweden a horrible case some years ago where a man took the car into the pedestrians zone where no cars are allowed in the old town of Stockholm, and he killed a lot of people by just taking the car and going and driving over them. And he said to his excuse, there was a man in the corner behind me who had this, and he steered me.
There are ways, I haven't heard of that method, but I have heard of other methods where people can be reprogrammed to do, for an experiment, to do what the government wants them to do. And in fact, it's incredibly easy. You can break the average person down for total reprogramming in just 30 hours. And that's without pain, without hypnosis, without drugs. The average person can be broken down in 30 hours. Usually, all they have to do is put you into a cell, no food, no water, no sound, and you're in total darkness. Absolute darkness. No sound, no water, nothing. And within 30 hours, you are hallucinating. Really hallucinating. Then, and this is so easy, I mean, I could do it. And then with, they call it synthetic telepathy. Microwaves can go right into the brain, and you hear a voice. Yes. And the psychiatrists beforehand, or the investigators, they would know a voice which you found comforting. Now, for a lady, it may be, if she loved her grandfather, it would be her grandfather's voice.
Oh, really?
If you are religious, it would be an angel, or Jesus, or Mohammed, or somebody. But when you've been in for 30 hours, and you're hallucinating, then the voice comes in. And of course, they can do this straight through the wall.
Yes.
The voice comes in, very soft, very soothing, very calming. Are you in trouble? I really am so sorry. Let me help. And over months or years, however long it takes, you will come just to rely on this voice. And if you don't do what this voice suggests, then the voice disappears and you're back in trouble. So you learn, a bit like heroin,
yes.
You learn to depend on this very friendly voice. And if you talk to the voice and you're agreeable with the voice, you get food and you get light and and then when you go home, the voice can wake you up in the middle of the night when you're sleeping and ask you questions, and then once you are absolutely, totally dependent on the voice, like heroin, it can say, now, the problem that you've been through was caused by, and it could be a religious sect, it could be a group of people.
Yeah, they always come with a false.
A group of people, dark-skinned, fair-skinned, whatever, but it will be somebody. And they would say, now what I need you to do is help us defeat these people. And the next thing you've got is a bomber or a murderer, and it can be done. It is.
For example, Mikhailo Mikhailovich, he was convicted of killing the Swedish Foreign Minister Anna Lindh in 2003.
Yep.
He said, I had so strong voices in my head, they gave the order to kill her.
Yep.
And that was for me a clear evidence that he was mind controlled, that he is innocent, he was just a tool.
Yep, but of course you can't prove it. And the government will say you're mad, lock him away.
Yes.
But it's a success. And if you wanted a single person, all you have to do with the person is say, well, the only person stopping you reaching a normal life is Mr. Smith. And as long as Mr. Smith is alive, you are going to suffer this. And it's very easy. It's very easy to reprogram a brain. Very easy.
Yeah.
I mean, religious sects do it sometimes to convince people. Look at the big mass suicide we had years ago. I forgot, in America. Waco. It's very easy to retrain a brain.
Yes.
Very easy.
Yes, for me, my research shows clearly that Waco was also a mind control operation. That is for sure. And even Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma bomber, he was at those doctors making mind control and reprogramming.
Yeah. But it's easily done, and of course the difficulty is finding out which people are having their minds changed by an agency deliberately, and those that really hate people and want to kill them anyway. But of course, it is a perfect weapon for that, and it's been going on for a while.
Is it possible to use it on any human, or are there some groups which are more difficult to remote control?
No, I think there are groups of people that it won't work on.
I think so too. Yes.
And I know this when I was, I used the word questioning, but when I was talking to spies and agents and international criminals and terrorists, it was over a cup of coffee, and I spoke to them as if they were ladies and gentlemen, like I'm talking to you. And if they wanted to talk, they did, and if they didn't, they didn't. But over the years, 11 years, there was only one that I never, ever managed to get anything from at all. There was one. And there are people who can resist.
Had you a clue how he managed to resist?
No, but there was one, and he was just totally, would not give anything away, absolutely nothing. And we would sit over coffee and have conversations, ordinary conversations about anything, the weather, football, anything, you know, and he would give nothing away.
Was he from Eastern Europe?
No, he's from Ireland. He would give nothing away.
Interesting, because in Eastern Europe they had advanced technology to shelter against mind control. But interesting.
Yeah, but he would give nothing away.
That is a little comfort because they can't get anybody, but they can. The majority they can use and reach.
I'm trying to think of the percentage. I'm trying to think of the percentage of people who could be really, really programmed, and I can't actually. It's probably quite high, but there will be a group who cannot be programmed. There will be a group.
Do you know about the goal? Is there a goal to program anybody?
I know with one of the programs over a 40-year period, they took 500,000 people I know that they had pregnant women, children over the age of 4, Muslims, Catholics, prisoners, drug addicts, cramps, servicemen, the whole cross-section. But one thing they didn't publish was the failure rate. They said we can cause this by this percentage, but that they didn't publish the failure rate. They probably took the failures from one experiment and tried them with another. So it's unknown. It's unknown if you had 100 people, how many could be controlled. Probably I would think maybe between 80 and 90 could be controlled. Maybe 1 in 10 couldn't.
And in Great Britain, one may suppose that it is MI5 controlling the technology.
Strictly speaking, we should say England.
England.
Because the Scotch, the Irish, the Welsh, I've never known any of those to do what the English government are doing. They seem to act on their own, and as far as I know, they have never, ever done it. It is the English government scientists, mainly from Porton Down, the big government military research centre.
Yes.
Now, to give you an example, we have scientists in England and the people who control them, and these are all unelected people. In 1960, and this went to court, in 1960 they took 20,000 young, fit servicemen and women, and they injected them. They said they were flu injections, and they injected them with toxins, poisons, chemicals. A lot of them died, a lot of them suffered an agonizing life with joint problems, cancers, and 50 years down the line, just a couple of years ago, 50 years down the line, the survivors, and there were only a handful, the survivors managed to get this to court. Not a single government scientist was named. They have total immunity and anonymity from the law. We have government scientists who are above and outside the law, and they have permission to kill people, government scientists. And I think this is wrong. They have permission to kill people, and they have. And they've been taken to court, but the government refused to have them in court. They settled out of court. The same was with the CIA. MK-Ultra is a good example. The CIA with the Canadian government.
Yes. The McGill University.
They were taken to court. Again, it took 50 years. Only a few people survived, and they refused to go into court and talk. They said it was government secrets, we're not going to tell you. And the survivors were paid a bit of compensation, and that's it. Not a single government scientist has ever appeared in the dock, and they have killed hundreds of thousands.
Yes. Do you know something about who is behind it in Sweden? Have you heard something about that?
No idea. But if they're linked to England or the CIA or Canada, and we have a scientist from Australia who was on one of the videos last night. I'm trying to think of his name. Adi. Who was in the program. So, and this is the problem. We have scientists who are outside the law.
Yes, that's a problem.
And when you have scientists who can kill people, and they cannot be prosecuted, then you have a problem.
You know who is giving the authorization to permit the killing?
Well, it's not the government, because the government are elected, and they only stay for 4 years. It has to be somebody above the government, maybe the civil servants, maybe the civil servants in MI5, MI6, the Foreign Office, the military, but it has to be somebody who is unaccountable to the law.
Yes, what I heard in my research when I looked into the case of the murder of Lady Diana, they say it is Prince Philip, the husband of the Queen, who is in charge of MI5 and MI6.
Could well be. I mean, I heard when Lady Diana was dating Dodi Fayed, the young gentleman Dodi Fayed, and she was becoming, it looked, romantically involved.
Yes.
The one thing the British government, and I know this, would not tolerate was a member of the royal family marrying a Muslim.
And being pregnant with them.
And being pregnant with a Muslim.
Because the Queen is a state church chief, and that would be trouble.
So there was no way they were ever going to allow that.
Yes, that's I heard as well. From a British agent who is one of my clients, he told me over a beer, we're not supposed to allow.
Yeah.
And I heard also that the driver was mind controlled.
It is possible. It is perfectly possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely possible. No one will ever know the truth, but I suspect that you're not the first person to say to me that Prince Philip was behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
You're not the first person to say that. Because when all is said and done, the royal family is a business.
Yeah, the institution of power.
It is a business, and the royal family, they have one aim, and that is to keep the royal family.
No, and to keep power. It's
and power, yep.
It's not so much money, but
no, not money,
power.
but they will stay the royal family.
Yes, yes, yes. I see that as well. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, that is very interesting. Do you know about technology giving shelter against those microwaves going into the brain or making cancer or heart attacks?
How do you mean giving?
That you are not open for it, that you perhaps have a device that you hang around the neck, giving a shelter against this.
Right, I don't know how they can work. For the simple reason that when microwaves, if I were microwaving you, I would be sending quite a wide beam to your head. And the microwaves, like all waves, travel in straight lines. Mm-hmm. They all travel in straight lines. Mm-hmm. Now, if the microwaves are going into your head from a beam, like if I was shining a torch into your face, if you're hanging something around your neck, that will not deflect a torch beam down to your chest. So the only thing I know that can deflect an electromagnetic wave at the speed it's going, which is the speed of light, unless you have your neutrinos, which theoretically can exceed the speed of light. The only way you can deflect them is to have something with an enormous gravitational field. The only thing known to me in the universe that powerful is a black hole in deep outer space.
But we can't hang it around our neck.
You can't hang a black hole around your neck, no. So how something here can stop a wave travelling at the speed of light going for your head? I don't know. I'm not saying the people that make them are lying. I've never tested one, and they may work. I can't see how they work, and if they do, I would love an explanation.
Yes.
I really would.
Yes. Well, we heard that the East German Stasi, the Secret Service, of the DDR, they had credit card-like pieces they could put beneath the collar here, and that should have given a shelter. You have never heard about that?
The only way I think something like that could work is if they transmit outwards. If you have something and it is transmitting outwards, then you will have in the war what is known as jamming, because you could jam radar. If you send a frequency back and it matches the frequency coming in, you have destructive interference. And destructive interference, the waves cancel each other out, and it ends up as heat. That is the only way I know to destroy a wave, is to jam it. So if they're given something that sends out a little frequency, that will jam it and that will work. But if it's something under the collar, I don't know how it would work.
Have you heard about scalar waves and other form of waves compared to electromagnetic?
Now, with my classical physics degree, a scalar is a measurement on a ruler that doesn't move. It is not a vector that does move.
No direction.
But I do know that Tesla waves can now be described as scalar, which are your neutrinos. And I know when I did at university, the nuclear and atomic physics, I can remember to this day doing calculations with neutrinos.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can remember doing calculations with neutrinos, and I can remember it. I can remember the lecture because the calculations came out faster than the speed of light.
Yes, exactly.
And I asked the professor, and I said, "This is impossible. I must be wrong." And he said, I must forgive me. And she said, "No." She said, "They will come out faster than light. They are particles which, as far as we know, can exceed the speed of light." We debated this, and we left it open that maybe they existed, and maybe they could travel faster than the speed of light, or maybe there's something we don't understand, and maybe they do travel at the speed of light, but they're not electromagnetic waves, they're particles, and it may be possible to accelerate a particle. Because theoretically, if you now start to travel faster and faster and you reach the speed of light, what happens is your mass increases. And your mass will increase and slow you down. And if you go faster and faster, your mass increases more and more and more, but you can never reach the speed of light. They find this with the cyclotrons. That the particles, their mass increases. Now, maybe with your neutrinos, even with the mass increasing, they can still accelerate, or maybe the mass doesn't increase and they can accelerate. And nobody knows the answer to that in the world. But I do know that they are so fast and so small. And the professor said to me, traveling from outer space, they can go right through the planet, through the center, out the other side, and not interact with a single atom. They won't touch anything. They won't touch the atoms in the ground. They won't touch the atoms in the lava, the magma. the iron core, they come out the other side, they won't touch a single atom in the oceans, and they whiz straight through. And I thought, you know, it's just almost unbelievable.
That's why those neutrino traps are so big, because they try desperately to catch them.
And they probably can catch them.
Yes, but there must be a kind of technology. My research in mind control gave me a clue when the victims told me, the targeted individuals, the first thing we do when we feel they are microwaving us, we go into a Faraday cage. And that is not a success, because they are still targeted. And how is that working? Because usually an electromagnetic wave is not passing through a Faraday cage. And then I got the hint that, oh no, they are using scalar waves based on neutrinos. And then, of course, neutrino can pass.
Because it has no charge. So it can go straight through.
So in some way, not every technology, but some of the technology targeting people must be based on scalar waves.
And there may be, I mean, to my knowledge, there are 16 subatomic particles. They may be using different subatomic particles as well. So I would agree with you, that is possible.
And one of your big messages is that the cell phone technology and the Wi-Fi, the wireless computer which we have, is very practical, and there are a lot of danger connected to this, and people don't know it.
There is a lot of danger. I mean, you know, as a scientist, microwaves react with water, and we are made of water. Our brains are made of water. So any microwaves going in the body must react with the water. And when you react with the water will change, the water goes around the cells, the water-based layers. You change the surface of the cell. And when you change the surface of the cell, you change the signal transduction and the cell cycle timing. And it goes on to the DNA, and you can change everything by microwaves.
Yes. And therefore people get cancer and other problems when they live close to this broadcasting devices on the roofs, on the houses, and so on. And in your speech yesterday, you came with compelling evidence that it is connected to that.
Well, there are 14 epidemiological studies, one even carried out by the industry itself, and they said this causes cancer. There are 5 High Court cases that prove this. So,
only in
no, 3 in Austria, 1 in Italy, and where was the other one? I can't think of the country with the other one. But there are 5, to my knowledge, and 19 other legal judgments where proof wasn't required. Scientifically, a magistrate or a judge who's not a High Court judge or a mayor listened to the evidence and said, turn it off, take it down.
Yes, and then it was better.
Then it was better.
And you told us yesterday about the farmer in Africa.
Oh yes, is this the one to do with the ants, or the one to do with the American military base? There were 2. But the one with the ants. He came to me and said, would you come to the field with me, Barry? And I said, of course I will. Lovely gentleman. And I went to the field, and he said to me, what do you hear? And then I said, well, there's a sort of an animal baboon in the trees over there, and there's something moving over there that I hoped wasn't a lion. And he said, you shouldn't be able to hear me speak. He said, normally all of these bushes would be covered with bees pollinating. And he said, as soon as that transmitter went up, I lost my bees. He said, and within a few months, my ants were lost. They disappeared. And we know that microwaves affect bees enormously. I've given a whole lecture on just bees. We know that the navigational system of ants is based on the Earth's magnetic field, the same used by bats, birds, fish, other creepy crawlies, and the microwaves are too powerful for the navigation system to work. It's the cryptochrome mechanism in the brain. It's too powerful. And so as soon as you put an animal in a magnetic field, they get lost. And they can't come back, or they will leave to find an area where they feel comfortable again. And this gentleman, and this is right across this country, he lost all of his fruit, which means he's now got to buy fruit, or which means the country has to start importing fruit. And he's lost his trees because the ants, whilst they crawled all over the plants, they licked the sap. They didn't eat the plants. And any locusts or insects that landed on the plants, the ants attacked them to protect their plants. So he's totally lost his farm, and that isn't one farm. All of the farms are suffering, which means the country now has to start importing food because it's not growing it, and it has to start importing drugs because people become sick, and it has to start importing medicines because in this country they were all vitamin C producing plants, and once you lack vitamin C, you're looking at scurvy. So now you've got to try and prevent scurvy. And the countries that are causing the problem, in this case the United States, they are the very first people to come in and offer aid.
Interesting for me to hear yesterday that especially women are targeted, and that they suffer more because the follicles are deformed.
Well, yeah, I mean, and they do know this because experiments were carried out, and I've read the papers, experiments were carried out in the Cold War on pregnant women with different levels of microwave irradiation to see how many genetically deformed children could be born, how many miscarriages. I know with the miscarriages it was 57.7% of women had miscarriages from low-level radiation. And so when they start putting Wi-Fi in schools, and you've got little girls in schools with all of the eggs in their ovaries that are going to be their future generation, you know, I contacted the authorities and said, you know, you can't do this, because you're going to produce genetically deformed children and miscarriages. They totally ignored me, and they're still putting Wi-Fi in schools. And the evidence is there that the girls, when they get married and they have children, there is a very high risk of a genetically born girl. But the DNA in the eggs in the follicles, they suffer 10 times more than all of the rest of the DNA in the body. So even if they use a safety level, it's a factor of 10 out anyway. And it's irreparable. It can never be repaired, that particular mitochondrial DNA. Which means that if you have a girl with the DNA damage, her child will get the damage, and then her child, right the way down the female line until there are no more females left in that line. And this is what they're doing. And they know with Wi-Fi in schools, because a girl can be irradiating her ovaries from the age of 5, if she goes to university, to 24, 19 years. She's sitting in front of Wi-Fi and it's transmitting straight through the ovaries if you look at how they sit.
And how was the boys, the sperms also can...
Well, boys are slightly different because girls are born with all of their eggs and they can be irradiated from birth. Boys will not produce sperms until puberty. But in saying that, there are several papers that now show that with Wi-Fi the sperms are also damaged. Yes. So you have the sperms and the eggs, and of course if you've got a damaged sperm and a damaged egg, it's horrific. Yes. The thing is, they know this, and the only reason they're putting Wi-Fi in schools is because if you're going to put it into, let's say in Denmark, 10,000 schools, I don't know, it's cheaper to use Wi-Fi than get workmen to drill holes to put the fibre optic cable or the phone cable through. You save maybe £1 million. And that's why they're doing it. And it's cheaper now to save £1 million and have genetically damaged children in 35 years' time.
I also heard already more than 10 years ago that don't give a cell phone to your children.
That's true, yep.
Because why is it especially dangerous?
Well, children are growing. The nervous system is growing. The bones are growing. The immune system is growing. The brain is growing. Everything in a child is growing. And if you put microwaves through growing parts of the body, you can affect the growth. You can deform the bones. You can alter the chemistry of the bone marrow that makes the immune system. You can affect the way the brain works. And these are growing, so if you change it, it's going to be changed for life, unless it can repair itself. So what you're doing is you're effectively changing the growth of the child. And a child isn't fully grown until they're 28. 28. The last thing to form is the clavicle, the shoulder blade. So really, if you want to be strict here, a child should not be exposed to microwaves until they are 28.
And I had some thoughts about what can we do about it? How can we improve it? And I had an interview with Professor Konstantin Meil in Germany, who is a physics professor and the leading researcher in scalar waves, because he made the experiment from Nikola Tesla, the Wardenclyffe Tower experiment, in a very tiny scale, and sells this so that everybody can follow that there are a special kind of longitudinal wave which we call also Tesla wave. And he said to us, if the cell phone industry would use only scalar waves, to communicate with people in a cell phone, then you have a kind of peer-to-peer connection directly from the ringer to the receiver. And because it is a longitudinal wave, it is not going around anywhere, making no electrosmog, and making it more healthy. And nobody can eavesdrop on it, because this is not a transversal wave going everywhere, but only between those two persons. So the Secret Services can't listen to us any longer. And he says, in this scalar wave, you can transmit enough energy to the cell phone that you don't need a battery. Because scalar waves have a lot of over-unity effects, because they collect the neutrinos on their way. This what Tesla showed already in the 1890s, when he had light bulbs 42 kilometer glowing without a cable between the generator. So for me it sounds perfect, and I know from some Germans who made their own cell phones on scalar waves between Berlin and St. Petersburg. It was worked perfectly, and then the guy went from St. Petersburg to Australia, so it was through the Earth, and it was perfect connection, no battery needed. So it is more cheap, it is more health, and they were so surprised, some of the frequencies already were occupied. So somebody here on Earth is using that technology already.
I mean, if that works, it will be brilliant. If that works, it will be brilliant when it comes in. But as you said yesterday, it may be 20, 30 years before the whole system is up and running. And the mobile industry, they're still putting up their transmitters, so they're not going to take them all down at the moment. But I mean, you're right, if it does work, it's brilliant. But if you say the Secret Service can't listen in, I can't see him getting a license to do it, because the beauty for the Secret Service is that they can watch, listen, and check every single person in the country. They can even watch you when you're in bed through the wall and see how many people are in bed with you. If you put your cell phone down and you're talking to the doctor or a lawyer or somebody, they can listen to what you're saying. They can, if they want to, they can listen to every single thing you say and watch everywhere you go 24 hours a day, and there's nothing you can do. They can even watch you go to the toilet. There's nothing you can do to stop them.
And I heard that in every cell phone signal there is a kind of noise also. And that they can modulate the noise and put in information to influence your mind, or also get back information.
Oh, that's done. They're using that in shops. And a shop was taken to court, and it was in the United States, with this system and using auditory hallucination or synthetic hallucination. A shop was targeting people coming into the shop, and the inventor was told that it would only be used to stop people shoplifting. That when they came in, if they wanted to stop them shoplifting, they would send a message saying, "We're watching you, don't steal that." But as soon as the inventor finished, the shops and maybe the governments, but somebody said, "Well, hang on, if we change the message, instead of saying don't steal that, buy it, we will make a profit." And a shop made, I think it was $600,000 using this in 9 months, and they were taken to court. But the government argued, from the transcript I had, the government argued that the system was harmless and no laws were being broken. It is not against the law to send somebody a message.
And it was not a subliminal message, it was
auditory, synthetic telepathy. They're arguing that it's like music. The message goes into the brain and you hear music. And the lawyers couldn't find a charge because it wasn't against the law. And the government scientists said, well, as far as we're concerned, all of this is safe. Because they use it, they have to say it's safe. And since then, it has spread to other big chain stores. And we don't know now how many chain stores are using this. But now there are big chain stores and fast food outlets that are targeting certain people to encourage them to spend more money. And that's amazing. And you think, well, we're back to where we started. I mean, what else can you ask them to do? Just supposing, the owner of a shop gets one of these devices and takes it home. And however the message is sent, maybe from a tape or a bit electronic voice these days, supposing the owner sends the message through the wall to his next door neighbour, saying, I admire you, come and sleep with me, or move because you're not wanted here, or you can send it across the street. I mean, somebody's only got to buy one of these and start using it for their own devices, and then we're back to where we started, where you've got people hearing voices and they're getting confused.
When they modulate this information on the carrier wave, do you know whether they modulate the amplitude or the frequency?
They can do either. They can do either. If you modulate the amplitudes, you will get more energy. If you modulate the frequency, you will get more vibration. You can do either. It depends on the energy. You'll probably end up doing both. But you would, with the noise, you can also put in anything from the 1 to the 600 pulse frequencies as well. So you could make somebody feel incredibly happy and indecisive or decisive, so they will buy something or do something. You can also put in the pulse frequencies.
And shortly before the Olympics in London now, you gave a fantastic interview to Lars Drygård from Denmark.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And you touched the Olympic Games and said it would be perfectly easy to support a sportsman.
It's so easy, I could do it. It is because of the known frequencies. If you target somebody, and this comes from, I will say, an intelligence case. There was a researcher who was murdered. I will say murdered, but it wasn't proven. But everyone knows he was murdered. He discovered something, and for what he discovered, he was murdered. And somebody from this country contacted me to say, do you know what he was working on? Do you know the pulse frequencies? Do you know everything? And I said, well, yes, as it happens, I do, because I've been reading about that recently. And they said, would you make a statement, because he's dead, he can't appear in court, would you make a statement for the court? And I said, yeah. So I wrote an enormous statement with the evidence, sent it to the country. And it was to do with targeting ministers of the government with pulse frequencies. Because if you have a minister that is going to make a crucial decision, and you can target them you can probably make them change their minds. It's very easy. And at this time, the Olympics were on, and somebody said, could Olympic athletes be targeted? And I said, easily. From any transmitter, straight through the wall to their bed when they're sleeping. And all you have to do is target them with a specific pulse frequency that will make them lethargic, disinterested. It's easily done, very easily done. Maybe feeling a little bit fluey. And all you have to do is take away the ability to slow them down by maybe a second. That's all you need. Slow them down by a second or two. Yeah. You can even do it whilst they're running. You can do it from a block of flats whilst they're running. You can just target the brain or the muscles, depending on the frequency, or the heart. You can actually make the heart not beat properly. And the gentleman you said when he was at my house, he said, is it possible? And I said, it is easy. Absolutely, all you need is a transmitter that will transmit into a beam, so you only get the one person, not the rest. You want a microwave beam. You can put it on a carrier wave, which will help the beam. You can use a high-powered lens like they use in sniper rifles for the beam, and all you have to do is target. All you need is not even a clear view of the athlete, because it will go through walls, and you can target somebody and you can slow them down. And any country with the technology, not only can you slow people down, but you can speed them up. And speeding them up is easier. If you target the adrenal glands, you will get adrenaline, natural adrenaline produced in the body. That has the effect of speeding up the heart, speeding up the reactions. Because if somebody came through this door now to shoot you, your adrenaline would come out straight away. You'd be in your fight and flight mode. Everything will be ready. You can induce that in people. So you can actually produce adrenaline, and it would not come out in a drugs test, because adrenaline is a natural body substance, so it wouldn't come out. And of course, if you're a little bit scared, as people are, athletes, before the starting gun, adrenaline's flowing anyway. You're just increasing it. So you could slow one person down, who may be your biggest rival, and you can speed somebody else up. It is easily done. Whether they're doing it, I don't know. You would need a detector somewhere near the ground to detect it. It could be detected. You could get them when they're asleep. But yes, it is possible. It is possible to manipulate the Olympics easily. It's so easy, and I'm certainly not a clever person compared to some of the other people. It is so easy, I could do it.
Because I was amazed that Britain were on the third level with the medals this year.
I wondered that. I thought, how come we've done so well?
It's very unusual.
Yeah. And I was looking and I thought, well, we've beaten Australia and we never beat Australia.
And Germany.
And we've beaten Germany and we've beaten Russia. And I thought, you know, we have never been this good. And I mean, in my own childish mind, I thought, I wonder if anyone's beamed these athletes while they've been working. And of course, you can't prove it. It is the perfect sports drug.
Yes.
The perfect drug.
Yes.
It induces a natural body substance.
Perfect doping.
Adrenaline. Cortisol, adrenaline. the perfect body substances, it won't come out in a drugs test, and you can give somebody a good second or two, and that's all you need.
And I first thought it could be the advantage that they are at home. But then I looked at the statistics. In the last London Olympics, they were also at home, but they were very lousy in the results. So it couldn't be that effect.
Yeah, I remember that, the White City in the 40s, 50s, I remember that. And you're right. And I did have a childish thought when I saw us on the score table and thought we've only been beaten by the United States and China. And there's something wrong there.
It is fishy.
So, but maybe, without taking it away, maybe the athletes are that good. Maybe they were beamed. I don't know.
No, we can't. No. Would you like finally to address something to the audience?
I think what we need is we need to find honest people with enormous power. The only way, I think there is only one way out of this. I think if I can get a message to people that the world will sit up and listen to, if I can talk to kings or queens, which I have done, if I can talk to kings or queens, and if we can have a king or a queen who is prepared to stand up for the children of their country, prepared to stand up for the victims of illegal experimentation, which are their people, they are their people. If they are prepared to defend their people, and they are prepared to make a nuisance and demand government action, because the kings and queens, although they have in some countries, no power to control government, they can make a nuisance of the government. They can call press conferences, and they can say, I do not have the power to stop you as a government, but I am your king, I am your queen. And I want you, as members of the press, to investigate and stop ordinary children, human beings, being targeted by illegal government scientists and killed by the scientists. I want my judges to investigate and bring these people to trial. I want Wi-Fi taken out of schools because I do not want my people to suffer any more genetic damage than nature would ordinarily cause. So a king or queen who was brave could do that, could call a press conference and could say to the press, make these people stop. I want you to hound these scientists, follow them home, get some papers, find a whistleblower, print what they're doing. Let's get everybody on one side and get these murderous killers stopped. And a king and a queen can do that. And if I can see a king or a queen and I can give them the proof and give them the evidence, and they care about not only their future, but the future of the people they are the king and queen of. They are like the mother and the father of a family. We are their family. And if they can say, I will not have my people tortured by government scientists just for research, and I will not have genetically born damaged children because somebody is too lazy or too greedy not to drill a hole through a wall. And I am going to encourage investigative reporters to get to the bottom of you as difficult as it is for them, they have my permission to do anything they want. We will have this exposed. And only a king and a queen can do that. We've got to go to the top, and if you can send this to the king and the queen, or the queen here, I will be very, very grateful. Or any king and queen. They have got to come in to protect their people and their country. And we've reached the stage where a gentleman, and I agreed with him sitting there, it may have been you, lying in government is now endemic. All senior government officials lie all of the time. Lying is so commonplace, it is now normal. It is normal to lie. They wouldn't know the truth if it jumped up and bit them on the backside. Everybody lies all of the time. It is endemic right through government. I said yesterday when I was talking, when I started questioning spies and people, the biggest task I was given was to investigate corruption in the senior London police and the senior London government, with their access to the expensive Mayfair clubs like the Playboy, where they would meet international criminals and gangsters and other people. And 45 years later, look into our papers now. The two organisations being questioned and targeted by the press for corruption are the police and the government. We have been corrupt for 45 years. It is endemic. Governments do no longer govern. They do not represent the people. They represent industry. And they will kill people to please industry. They will murder people. Children, embryos, fetuses, infants. They will murder anyone to please industry. And we need now, and there is only one way to stop this, we need a king or a queen to talk to me. I can put them in touch with other kings and queens who will verify what I say in their country. And hopefully we need a king or a queen that will call the press, the best of the investigative reporters, and say, publish this, hound these people, get to the truth, and I want everything in the papers until you stop the murders, you stop the genetically damaged children. That is the only way, and if they don't do it, we are going to lose our countries, and we are going to lose our people, we are going to lose the human race because of the acid rain, the carbon dioxide, the trees, everything which the microwaves are destroying. We're going to lose everything. And my message is, and I'm sorry it's so long, my message is to the king and the queens, you have the status. Let me see you use it for the benefit of the people. You have the luxury. You have everything you want. You have everybody bowing and kneeling to you. Turn the tables for once, just once. Do something for us. You can save your people. And that is what I want from the kings and queens.
Thank you very much. We are very grateful.
My pleasure. And if you can show that to your queen, I'll be grateful.
Yeah, in Sweden we will show to the king.
Yeah, to the king.
Yes, yes. And we have a very good king in Sweden.
And if like our royal family, there are armies of people to stop people like me getting access, if you know an investigative reporter who is fearless and can tell the truth and can publish it,
I will do my best.
Get it published word for word.
I will do my best. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. which can induce maybe up to 50 physiological and neurological illnesses. The problem we have today is that under the direction of the United States government, most of the Western countries, they were all advised not to tell people the truth. And so what we have now is really a runaway train. This is from the Naval Surface Weapons Center, the United States. We can change behavior of cells, tissues, whole organisms, in other words, any part of the body. We can have a 6 times higher fetal mortality rate, cause birth defects, and induce malignant tumours in human cells. Today, even now, Tetra is an experiment. It was between the American and the English governments that forced Tetra out. The aim is to sell Tetra to as many European countries as possible. But that is an experiment. Every police officer, every fire brigade, every ambulance worker, they are all part of the experiment, but they were never told it has a pulse frequency which is known to cause calcium efflux. In other words, the pulse frequency will affect the way your brain works, and it will affect every organ in the body and can cause tumours. The police will become more bad-tempered, more aggressive and more violent. There will be more cancers involving the police, and the sickness rate will increase. It's phenomenal what this industry now has the power to do. You can listen to every single person's conversation all of the time. Even if your phone is off, they know exactly where you are, exactly what you say, whom you're meeting with, everything. You have biological and microwave warfare. They can make you ill, they can target you. Not only can they make sounds in your ears, they can actually put spoken word into your ears, and you can hear proper voices. And now the voice, depending on what they know about you, I mean, and if they've listened to your telephone calls for years, they will know who you trust and what you believe in. And then what they can do is they can then have the voice start telling you what to do. Even commit a crime, kill somebody. Think of a trampoline. If you jump on a trampoline and you bounce up and down and you get a nice steady bounce, that will be your natural resonant frequency for a bounce. If a 56-stone man jumps on and starts bouncing, you have no choice but to bounce at his pace, because he will take over. Now that's what happens in the body. Your organs have their own resonant frequencies, which can be taken over. All of your body pulses and fluctuates at its own speed. What you have with these vibrations is when they come in, it's like the 56-stone man jumping on your trampoline. Your body has to follow. You have no choice. There's nothing you can do to stop it. You've got HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. I believe there is a similar device in the Soviet Union. We've got one on Cyprus. There's probably one in China. And with HAARP, you can just beam microwaves anywhere in the world, and you can target specific houses, you can target entire countries. So we're getting to a phase now where we can literally destroy the planet. A scientist asked to see me, and he said, I've had a really bad problem, Barry. He said, I've just done an experiment for the government. He said, I was asked to test the heart and the brain against the tetra wave frequency. And he said to me, how long would it take you to do that experiment? And I said, well, 10 years. He said, do you know how long they gave me? He said, within the hour, I completed both and had time for a cup of coffee. Clearly, it came out negative and safe. And all the people were told was that the country's top scientist had tested it and found it safe. And he said, now I know this is going to cause cancer, what can I do? If I breathe a word of this, I'm going to lose my job and I'm never going to get another one. That's one example. Another is George Carlo. He did a 10-year experiment for the industry. He found that microwaves caused cancer. They said, we're not going to publish. And he said, well, you must, because people need to know this. And they said, no, we've decided not to publish. And he went ahead and published anyway, lost his job, lost his research, had his house burnt down. It just gives an example of what the industry is capable of doing. The whole communication system could be made safe. There are ways to stop the microwaves causing resonant frequency damage inside the body, but it costs money and they would have no profit.
Sì, certo, la cosa è molto interessante, che dire, io ho fatto degli studi in realtà che portavano in altre direzioni e avevano altri scopi, non certo quello di verificare le frequenze e il cervello umano, ma poi mi ci sono trovato nel mezzo, perché magari uno cerca delle cose e ne trova delle altre. E così mi sono trovato ad analizzare come funziona il cervello. E come funziona il cervello vuol dire come esso risponde a certi stimoli esterni, quali le vibrazioni, tra cui le vibrazioni sonore, ma non solo, anche quelle del colore, per esempio, attraverso gli occhi, non solo attraverso le orecchie. E così ho creato un test che si chiama Triade Color Test, in cui il cervello fa vedere, simula, immagina l'universo come fosse un universo a colori, ma si può fare anche con i suoni. E ho espanso questo tipo di test cerebrale, una simulazione mentale che tutti possono fare ai suoni. In altre parole, il nostro cervello sembra, l'ho provato su qualche migliaio di persone, sapere che lo spazio si divide in davanti, dietro, destra, sinistra e alto, basso, e a ogni punto di riferimento, quindi sono 6 punti di riferimento, esiste una frequenza sonora ben precisa. Va detto che il nostro cervello, secondo il mio modestissimo punto di vista, vede l'universo come un universo finto, cioè non si muove nulla, non c'è nulla che il tempo non c'è, l'energia non c'è. Secondo la fisica moderna di questo signore che si chiama Bohm, che è un fisico contemporaneo di Einstein, l'universo è non locale. Cioè, cosa vuol dire? Vuol dire che non esiste, per esempio, lo spazio e non esiste il tempo, ma tutto accade in un unico istante. Ma noi crediamo di vedere le cose che si spostano, che vengono verso di noi o che si allontanano da noi. In realtà il nostro cervello assume certe condizioni di contorno e crede di vedere gli oggetti che si allontanano e si avvicinano. Per esempio, vedendone cambiare il colore, oppure sentendo che il suono degli oggetti corrispondenti cambia. Tutti sanno perfettamente che una fonte sonora come quella di un'ambulanza che viene verso di te ha un suono stridente, ma quando si allontana da te ha un suono molto più basso. Invece quello che ascolta questo suono e che sta guidando l'ambulanza sente sempre lo stesso suono. E questa è un po' la base della teoria della relatività, che per me è una teoria molto vecchia. Questo per dire come il suono in qualche modo ci fa capire, percepire che le cose si avvicinano, si spostano nello spazio esterno a noi e fanno delle cose. Noi ci correliamo con lo spazio esterno anche attraverso i suoni. Allora, non a caso esiste una cromoterapia, non a caso esiste una sound therapy, cioè una terapia del suono. Il nostro cervello non solo è influenzato dal rumore, detta proprio in termini banali, ma risponde al rumore che ascolta in un certo modo. Alcuni colori sono quelli che ti fanno stare bene, alcuni colori sono quelli che ti fanno stare male, alcuni suoni ti fanno stare bene, alcuni suoni ti fanno stare male. Non a caso esiste una ricerca americana, ovviamente quasi tutto è sotto controllo militare, la ricerca scientifica non esiste più, esiste solo una ricerca militare negli Stati Uniti d'America, perché sono gli unici che hanno un po' i soldi per farla, questa ricerca, che è coperta da quello che è il grandissimo progetto MK Ultra. MK Ultra vuol dire Mind Control, cioè controllo della mente, e in questo grande calderone che è il Mind Control c'è il suono. Cioè ci sono delle armi soniche, subsoniche, infrasoniche, che se proiettate contro il nemico non si accorge di sentire, di ascoltare una musica, perché magari è infrasonica, quindi te non la senti, ma in realtà il tuo cervello in qualche modo ne viene colpito e il soggetto viene paralizzato, si sente male, vomita, non è più in grado di combattere, ha delle crisi, vede delle immagini nel cervello che non esistono, di tutto, di più. Così come ci sono progetti che si possono vedere anche su internet, sempre di natura militare, che mostrano come microchip introdotti nel cranio producano delle vibrazioni, cioè dei suoni, che ti fanno vedere lo slideshow nel cervello che non esiste, ascoltare un suono che non c'è e farti cambiare umore. Ci sono dei progetti di questo tipo che servono per il cambiamento della coscienza del paziente che ha il microchip nel cranio. E sono tutti progetti che sono assolutamente visibili, se voi li potete andare a vedere nell'ufficio brevetti americano, e ci sono tutte le informazioni più o meno interessanti per comprendere che il suono ha qualcosa a che fare con il cervello. Ora, detto questo, quando io mi sono interessato del problema suono, mi sono interessato di questo problema solo perché volevo comprendere come il cervello umano si relazionasse all'esterno, cioè vedesse l'universo come in realtà è costruito. Il cervello crea un'immagine dell'universo che non solo è un universo geometrico, che è regolato da simmetrie particolari e operazioni di simmetria, che poi sono banali perché sono 3 o 4, sono la traslazione, la rotazione, il cambiamento di dimensione e l'asse e il piano di simmetria. Pensate che su queste 4 cose si basano tutte le operazioni geometriche dell'universo, sono 4 parametri fondamentali. Il nostro computer funziona solo su queste 4 cose. Ebbene, queste 4 cose possono essere legate a un'onda, seno di omega t più φ, dicono i fanatici della matematica, le onde. Tu credi di vedere una cosa che si allontana, in realtà senti il suono che cambia e tu credi che l'oggetto si allontani da te, mentre per la fisica di Bohm nulla si allontana e nulla si avvicina da te, ma è una grande matrix, tremenda questa cosa, in cui tu credi che le cose si allontanino, si avvicinino e si muovano, ma in realtà tutto sta fermo. Dove il tuo cervello o la tua mente, che sono 2 cose differenti, perché la mente ha coscienza di sé, il cervello è solo un pezzo di carne che non conta niente, comunque questi 2 oggetti, mente e cervello, lavorano per darti una idea di quello che è il mondo esterno a te, dove tu sei il creatore del mondo esterno e quindi produci all'esterno tutti quegli effetti che credi che ti vengano addosso, invece sei tu stesso a produrli. Chiaro che questo è un concetto che distrugge completamente tutta quella che è la fisica moderna, tutta quella che è l'idea della politica, della religione, del modo di vivere, del buono e del cattivo, dell'acceso e dello spento, della dualità, dove la dualità in realtà non esiste perché sei tu che la crei, ma il suono produce in te un effetto e il suono è qualcosa verso il quale tu vai incontro. Il suono è vibrazione, tutto l'universo è vibrazione, tu produci la vibrazione ed è chiaro che se incontri un malintenzionato, un militare di turno, il quale sa e conosce bene questo aspetto della biologia del cervello e produce un suono che ti copra il tuo, te lo equalizza, te lo annulla, quello che tu hai prodotto, che potrebbe essere uno stato estatico, uno stato di piacere, uno stato di gioia, viene distrutto, eliminato, stravolto e modificato da agenti esterni prodotti da altri. In questo contesto è chiaro che la sound therapy ha un suo significato preciso. Guardi un colore e sei più tranquillo, senti e ascolti un suono e sei più cosciente di te. Ora, va sottolineato che da quando il mondo esiste i governanti non hanno mai voluto che tu capissi qualcosa. Perché? Perché se tu capisci per 40 anni Andreotti è col cazzo che lo rivoti, oppure Berlusconi è col cazzo che lo rivoti, e allora è bene che la gente rimanga un po' rincoglionita, e per rincoglionire la gente ecco che vengono fuori le ipotesi che sembrano uscite dal cappello di un mago, per cui ci sono in giro nell'ambiente delle fonti di radiazioni che non sono sonore o colori, che non sono proprio quelle giuste per te, ma che in qualche modo disturbano la tua coscienza, la tua capacità di comprendere e tutto quello che ne è legato. Io per tanti anni ho studiato il fenomeno delle adduzioni aliene, che per alcuni può sembrare una cosa fuori del mondo, no? Gli alieni, ma figuriamoci se gli alieni vengono qui e ci rompono le balle a noi. Però quello che si è scoperto con la tomografia laterale, con la risonanza magnetica al computer, con tutte le tecniche di medical imaging, cioè di fotografare quello che tu hai dentro il corpo, che questi poveri disgraziati che vengono identificati come addotti e non sono affatto pazzi, hanno nel proprio cervello un piccolo microchip di 2,5 mm di fronte alla ghiandola pineale che emette delle particolari onde cerebrali che trasformano la ghiandola pineale in una ghiandola che secerne un po' a caso melatonina e serotonina e che producono variazioni psicologiche e psicosomatiche molto gravi. Io ho letto, mi ricordo tantissimi anni fa, fui incaricato da una giornalista italiana di verificare se scientificamente esistesse della letteratura che parlava dell'inquinamento da microwaves, cioè da microonde, dai telefonini. E io scoprì che c'era di tutto, cioè quello che oggi chiamiamo un telefonino, te lo metti vicino all'orecchio e ti spara delle microonde sulla ghiandola pineale, e questo telefonino poteva produrre di tutto, dall'allungamento del periodo di partogenesi delle donne alle malattie più strane, ai momenti di confusione, e c'erano dei lavori scientifici. Mi ricordo tantissimi anni fa, alcuni lavori scientifici all'Università di Pisa presero degli studenti, li pagarono perché poverini se no non sapevano come recuperarli, li misero nella stanza e li bombardarono con alcune onde a 50 Hz di frequenza in quel periodo mi ricordo il lavoro, l'ho letto tanti anni fa, e i soggetti cominciarono ad avere analgesia all'apparato dentario, non sapevano più dove erano, non sapevano in che tempo erano. Insomma, a secondo della musica che sentiamo è evidente che il nostro umore cambia, e se noi sappiamo queste cose sappiamo anche difenderci dalla musica cattiva. Se non sappiamo queste cose, qualcuno ci offre della musica che non è proprio tonica per noi.
Sono Fiorenzo Marinelli, lavoro all'Istituto di Genetica Molecolare del CNR di Bologna e mi occupo di effetti biologici dei campi elettromagnetici di radiofrequenza e bassa frequenza. In realtà si tratta di verificare quali sono i meccanismi con cui le emissioni dei telefoni o delle wifi o dei radar possono influenzare gli organismi biologici. Dunque, io faccio esperimenti su cellule in cultura per identificare i meccanismi con cui questi campi elettromagnetici influenzano la vita delle cellule. E questo non è immediatamente trasponibile sulla esposizione di persone, no? Perché le cellule hanno meno meccanismi di difesa, sono differenti. Però a me interessa vedere quali sono i meccanismi di azione, per cui quello che abbiamo trovato è che i campi elettromagnetici in generale, ma in particolare il Wi-Fi, il WiMAX e i telefoni cellulari modificano la regolazione genica all'interno delle cellule. Le cellule restano in vita perché c'è un bilanciamento di geni che inducono morte cellulare e sopravvivenza cellulare. Quando questo bilanciamento viene sbilanciato, come viene fatto dalle emissioni elettromagnetiche, allora prevalgono dei geni che possono portare alla morte cellulare, oppure possono indurre delle modificazioni tali che la cellula diventa tumorale.
Quindi avete visto che nelle prime 24 ore c'è
un'induzione di apoptosi, cioè le cellule vengono per una certa percentuale indotte a morire, ad autoeliminarsi, perché sono troppo danneggiate. Dopodiché quelle che sono sopravvissute, anche se sono aberranti, cioè se hanno subito modificazione, ricevono un segnale di sopravvivenza cellulare. E quindi questo fa sì che la cosa sia ancora più pericolosa, perché possono essere cellule potenzialmente tumorali che vengono indotte a proliferare. Ci sono già studi epidemiologici su popolazioni esposte, già dicono che ci sono influenze in questo senso, no? Una maggior tumorigenicità nelle persone esposte, per esempio per quanto riguarda le leucemie indotte, il rischio di leucemia indotto dalla presenza di elettrodotti, ad esempio, no? Del trasporto di energia elettrica, quindi campi magnetici di bassa frequenza.
Però lì sempre a una certa vicinanza, questo studio sono fatti
entro un certo campo, diciamo così. E qui è la stessa cosa, non si riesce a dare una soglia, no? Perché c'è anche una suscettibilità diversa da parte delle persone.
A isolare un campione?
Sì, è difficile ma si fa, insomma, esistono già degli studi epidemiologici, no? Per esempio la differenza può essere tra chi utilizza il telefono cellulare e chi non lo utilizza e poi andare a vedere le incidenze, come è stato fatto, per esempio come qui ha portato il professor Salford, questa modificazione della permeabilità della barriera ematoencefalica, per cui delle proteine passano nel liquor cerebrale anche se non dovrebbero, quando la persona è sottoposta a campi elettromagnetici. Ma noi tuttavia abbiamo un grosso problema qua, è che abbiamo un limite di legge di esposizione della popolazione che riguarda solo i sistemi fissi. e che non riguarda invece i telefoni, che sono invece sistemi mobili. Non viene applicata ai telefoni mobili, mentre invece un telefono al momento della connessione può emettere anche 60 volt per metro, che significa 10 volte in più di quello che è permesso in un'abitazione. Quindi non c'è una limitazione di legge che riguarda i telefoni mobili. È stata proprio esclusa facendo la legge quadro il decreto 381 che poi è passato nella legge quadro del 2003.
E secondo lei sulla base degli studi attuali sarebbe possibile fare una legge?
Noi dovremmo ridurre il limite di esposizione almeno di 10 volte da quello attuale, cioè a 0,6 volt per metro.
Diciamo che è un principio di precauzione.
No, è abbastanza ben documentato che a 0,8, 1 volt per metro ci sono degli effetti abbastanza drastici e quindi cautelativamente bisognerebbe ridurre i limiti di legge a 0,6. Allora, sui telefoni cellulari la cosa è complicata da un fatto, che il telefono cellulare viene usato a distanza molto ravvicinata e la distanza a cui si usa è all'interno di quello che viene definito campo vicino. Nella emissione da un'antenna il campo elettromagnetico si comporta in due modi diversi, all'interno della dimensione della lunghezza d'onda e all'esterno di questa dimensione. Allora, il telefono viene usato all'interno di questa dimensione, nel campo vicino, e qui le leggi fisiche non sono uguali a quelle della propagazione a grande distanza e anche gli effetti biologici non sono studiati in maniera adeguata, perché non c'è una corrispondenza esatta tra il campo elettrico emesso e il campo magnetico emesso. E quindi i telefoni cellulari vengono usati in una condizione di cui non conosciamo neanche la fisica esattamente. Bisognerebbe fare ulteriori studi, ma prima di esporsi a questo tipo di campo. E invece c'è un aumento drammatico delle esposizioni, perché si promuove la vendita e l'uso del telefono cellulare addirittura anche al posto del telefono fisso, quando invece il telefono cellulare è una preziosa radio d'emergenza nei casi di emergenza, ma che non può sostituire la comunicazione con il cavo, insomma. Ma il telefono cellulare è un apparecchio da usare per i casi di emergenza e basta. Sì, cioè è prezioso nei casi di emergenza, ma non è uno strumento da utilizzare per la normale comunicazione. Un telefono spento non emette nulla, un telefono acceso ma non in conversazione, ogni tot di minuti a seconda del modello, emette un segnale che si collega alla cella più vicina. E questo è vero se il telefono è fermo. Perché se il telefono è in movimento sente cambiare il campo di comunicazione con l'antenna e quindi emette sempre un segnale di ricerca della cella più vicina. Poi c'è da dire un'altra cosa, che quando il telefono si mette in comunicazione con l'antenna emette il massimo della sua potenza. Poi sia l'antenna che il telefono tendono ad abbassare la potenza purché si mantenga la comunicazione. Anche questo è vero se il telefono è fermo. Invece noi abbiamo la pessima abitudine di camminare parlando e questo significa che il telefono teme sempre di perdere la connessione e quindi emette sempre il massimo della potenza. Le peggiori condizioni per telefonare sono da dentro la macchina, dove invece bisognerebbe avere l'antenna esterna, perché le onde escono soltanto dai finestrini e vengono riflesse dai metalli, o in treno o nelle condizioni analoghe, dove ci si irradia molto di più. Il telefono collegato all'antenna esterna, perché in questo caso è il tettino metallico che protegge dalla penetrazione delle radiazioni all'interno. Mentre invece se noi telefoniamo con il telefonino da dentro la macchina, molte delle onde elettromagnetiche rimbalzano anche addosso a noi prima di uscire.
Lei dice che cambia poco usare l'auricolare?
No, l'auricolare cambia molto, nel senso che si allontana il telefono dalla testa e quindi si diminuisce il campo di una decina di volte. Quindi,
però adesso stanno esplodendo gli auricolari wireless.
Gli auricolari wireless sono peggio perché emettono un'ulteriore frequenza per collegarsi al telefono. La risposta, cioè noi studiamo per esempio le cellule leucemiche, le CEM, perché di queste conosciamo tutto, no? Conosciamo la genetica, conosciamo il comportamento e quindi la variabile del campo elettromagnetico è una variabile che ci dice che cosa sta succedendo in quelle cellule. Ma non è che cambi qualcosa, cioè il comportamento è lo stesso. Infatti recentemente ho fatto degli esperimenti su cellule muscolari lisce, sane, prese da donatori sani e i risultati sono analoghi. Il discorso è questo, che nelle cellule neoplastiche alcuni geni apoptotici sono già attivati, no? E quindi il campo elettromagnetico promuove di più l'induzione apoptotica. Nelle cellule sane invece questi geni apoptotici non sono totalmente attivati e quindi c'è un'induzione che non parte da un certo livello ma parte da zero. E quindi viene indotta l'apoptosi lo stesso.
Il 29 gennaio 2018 le commissioni dei trasporti e delle telecomunicazioni del Consiglio degli Stati hanno consigliato di innalzare i valori limite per la telefonia mobile. Così si dovrebbe impedire un supposto collasso delle reti di telefonia mobile, visto che la sollecitazione dell'infrastruttura delle reti sarebbe cresciuta fortemente. Sarebbe importante mantenere concorrenziale l'economia locale rispetto all'UE. Oltre a ciò si dovrebbero anche creare le condizioni necessarie per l'introduzione della prossima generazione di telefonia mobile, detta anche 5G. Il 5G dovrebbe essere introdotto in Svizzera e nei paesi dell'UE entro il 2020. Viene definito come nuova rete mobile in grado di connettere tutto a Internet, per esempio veicoli con veicoli e un sistema di gestione del traffico, un pulsometro con il medico, la pattumiera con i servizi di raccolta rifiuti, eccetera. La radiazione della telefonia mobile viene anche comunemente definita come radiazione elettromagnetica ad alta frequenza. Per il 5G la banda di frequenza della radiazione elettromagnetica nell'ambito delle microonde su cui si punta varia tra 6 e 100 GHz. Finora però non è ancora definito quale campo debba essere effettivamente utilizzato. Dato che le microonde, a differenza delle onde radio, vengono ostacolate già solo da vetro, pioggia e alberi, per la tecnologia 5G ci vorrebbero delle antenne ogni paio di centinaia di metri. Di conseguenza si innalzerebbe in modo duraturo l'esposizione alle radiazioni. Così, il 12 dicembre 2017, oltre 180 scienziati e medici da 36 paesi hanno rivolto un appello ai paesi dell'UE. Noi, oltre 180 scienziati e medici da oltre 36 paesi, consigliamo una moratoria dell'ampliamento alla quinta generazione per la telecomunicazione finché i potenziali pericoli per la salute umana e l'ambiente saranno completamente ricercati da scienziati indipendenti dall'industria. Il 5G aumenterà fortemente l'esposizione ai campi elettromagnetici ad alta frequenza. È dimostrato che i campi elettromagnetici ad alta frequenza sono dannosi per l'uomo e l'ambiente. Nonostante questo appello non è cambiato nulla nella strategia dell'ampliamento del 5G, né in Germania né negli altri paesi dell'UE. Fino ad oggi scarseggiano i risultati di ricerca in merito agli effetti della radiazione della telefonia mobile nello spettro di frequenza del 5G per la salute di uomo e natura. È noto però che nello spettro del 5G l'intera energia radiativa viene assorbita dalla pelle a motivo della cortezza delle onde che varia tra 5 cm e 3 mm. Uno studio dell'Università Ebraica di Gerusalemme che è stato presentato internazionalmente mostra che le 2 fino a 4 milioni di ghiandole sudoripare presenti nella pelle reagiscono a questa radiazione a onde corte come delle antenne. La pelle è il più grande organo del corpo umano e tra l'altro è coinvolto nella regolazione del sistema immunitario. Il pubblico non è a conoscenza del fatto che gli effetti nocivi delle radiazioni dei telefoni cellulari sull'uomo e sugli animali sono stati scientificamente dimostrati ben prima della prevista introduzione del 5G. Come mostra il seguente esempio, il settore della telefonia mobile lo sa da tempo. Nel 1999 T-Mobile, operatore tedesco, ha incaricato l'Istituto Ecolog di Hannover di analizzare lo stato delle conoscenze sugli effetti delle comunicazioni mobili sulla salute dell'uomo e degli animali. L'analisi degli studi disponibili ha mostrato, tra l'altro, un effetto cancerogeno dei campi elettromagnetici ad alta frequenza sui gruppi di popolazione e sugli animali più esposti. Negli esperimenti condotti su colture cellulari è stato possibile rilevare danni diretti al materiale genetico. Nel maggio 2000 l'analisi è stata completata dall'istituto e consegnata al cliente T-Mobile, il quale comunque non l'ha reso pubblico, ma ha cercato di mantenere questo segreto fino ad oggi. Per questo Ecolog stesso ha tradotto e pubblicato lo studio in tedesco, il quale è disponibile al seguente link. Stimati spettatori, nonostante questi fatti noti, l'industria delle comunicazioni mobili ha deciso di tacere pubblicamente sulla nocività delle comunicazioni mobili per gli esseri umani e gli animali. Anche sempre più politici sembrano dar maggior priorità all'ampliamento del 5G e al profitto del settore piuttosto che alla protezione della salute della popolazione. Solo la popolazione sarà in grado di convincere i politici a fermare l'aumento dei valori limite dei cellulari e la crescente esposizione alle radiazioni della telefonia mobile.
Die zunehmende Belastung durch Mobilfunkstrahlung zu stoppen.